in such a busy world with so many different responsibilities and so many different expectations, it's no wonder that research says our attention span is equivalent to that of a goldfish. I know for me, as I continued to get older and step more into adulthood in my career and balancing and juggling so many different roles and responsibilities, I was 100% convinced that I had adult-onset ADHD because I would sit in a meeting and my physical body would be there, but I couldn't tell you what we were talking about in the meeting. Or I'd read an article or a book and I couldn't comprehend it. And what it really was is that my focus was all over the place. Even though I could physically be present in one place, my mind was somewhere else. Maybe I was thinking about my lengthy to-do list or a responsibility I needed to do or a funny TV show, whatever it was, my mind was all over the place. And so I had to learn to get in control of my focus and make sure that my focus was on the things that needed to be prioritized. And so today I want to share 3 strategies that I have used to improve my focus. So the first strategy that I have incorporated into my regular practice is to totally get rid of multitasking. Research says that we're incapable of it, which actually means that we're not good at it. But I, for so long, had allowed myself to believe that I was this superstar at multitasking, that I could juggle all of these things. But what was really happening is that I was giving a half effort to everything. So I couldn't remember the meeting that I logged on Zoom and watched because at the same time I was doing that, I was also cooking a meal for my kids. And so I couldn't remember the recipe and the meal didn't turn out that great, but I also didn't remember anything that I had learned from my Zoom meeting. And so overall, I wasn't showing up to either place with my best self. And therefore, in turn, I wasn't taking away the things that I needed to take away. Have you ever gone back and looked over an email you sent or a project you've worked on that you are multitasking your way through? If you're being honest, you'll probably notice pretty quickly that it wasn't your best effort. Research says that when we try to multitask, our brain is equivalent to that of like someone who's high or drunk. So imagine sending your boss an email when you're high or when you're drunk, or starting your business from that mindset, or writing your book from that mindset. You're obviously not going to be putting your best foot forward, and therefore the results are going to be very minimal, not what you like. So knowing this and understanding this research, I have committed to making multitasking something of the past. The second way that I have tried to improve my focus is by taking breaks. This is huge. I think that a lot of times we try to push through all of our activities and all of our responsibilities. We want to go, 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 and we just want to get it done. But the reality is, if you don't allow for breaks, you'll quickly burn out and overwhelm yourself. And so one thing I've committed to is building breaks in my day. One thing that I have on my calendar is I have an alert that jumps in twice a day, and it says, are you creating from a place of joy or stress? Finally, the third strategy that I use to help me to find my focus is the ABC method. A stands for become aware. B stands for breathe, and C stands for consider and make a choice. So when I'm in the zone and I'm working on a project, let's say I'm writing my book or I'm outlining a course that I want to create, or I'm digging in and writing out a blog, whatever it may be, when I'm in the zone, I really focus in that moment, okay? And let's say that a distraction comes up. I get a notification from social media. Well, in that moment, when that distraction comes my way, I have an opportunity to acknowledge it, become aware that this is here, that this distraction exists. Then I take a deep breath to allow myself to move into the next step, which is C, consider my next choice. So do I need to acknowledge this distraction by responding? Do I need to just ignore it? Do I need to take it a step further and maybe put my phone on airplane mode so that I don't even hear distractions? What's neat about the ABC method is it allows you to slow down and to remind yourself what you should be focused on. So many times we're like super hyper focused on something, and then a distraction comes and we become overly committed to a distraction that has nothing to do with our ultimate goal. But using the ABC method allows you to slow down and reflect, acknowledge that this distraction is here. Take a deep breath and then consider your next choice so that you're making an informed decision about whether or not that distraction deserves your attention, and you're making an informed decision about dedicating your time and energy and effort into the project and the task at hand. Overall, finding your focus can be extremely challenging because we have so many things that we're responsible for and so many different ways that our attention needs to be exhausted in all these different directions. But here's the neat thing. The focus muscle is much like going to the gym, right? When you go to the gym, you can't just go once and be like, all right, I did it, Dr. Nicole. Yeah, I should be able to focus. But the more you go to the gym, the more you get into the flow of it and the stronger you get. So the more you start to incorporate these focus strategies, the better you'll actually be at focusing. Research says that when we give into distractions, we are actually teaching our brain to underperform. And knowing that, you should never want to intentionally underperform. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to join me on this journey. I'm going to ask you to commit to just one of these activities for the next 7 days and watch your focus improve and in turn, your productivity as well. I'll chat with you guys later.